Hello everyone, Sheek here with another Transformers review, and today I will be reviewing Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Netflix Autobot Deep Cover. As far as what his role is in the show, I don't remember really seeing him. He might have been in there, he might not have been. In all, the Netflix show is not necessarily the best show, but here he is, Autobot Deep Cover. This is my first Sideswipe style mold figure that I've gotten, because it is the Cybertron one, so I wasn't so keen on him initially, but he was at the store, decided I should get him, maybe actually review one of them. Not a fan of the battle damage and the Cybertronian Lamborghini, although there are some upgrade kits, so maybe I'll get an upgrade kit and maybe see about removing the battle damage. But Autobot Deep Cover doesn't really say anything about him, just, Transformers in 17 steps, vehicle mode, robot mode, and of course, warning, do not eat anything in here, Hasbro. Deep Cover, and more Unicron Golden Disc Kingdom stuff, even though this isn't exactly Kingdom, but there's Tigertron. Maybe they'll be making a Tigertron too. Anyway, let's go ahead and get him opened up and out of his box. And as you can see, warning, do not eat any of this. Alright, so here he is, all nice and tight in his box, although it looks like his hand somehow came loose. But considering how well and intact these are, I doubt he was bought and returned, because they would not be intact like they are. Alright guys, other hand free. Although the box was just a little bit beat up, felt a little bit loose, but the tape is still there, so like I said, I doubt anyone bought it and returned it. Although I have seen a couple of deep covers in, in stores, which were not actually deep cover. They were, someone bought them and put something else in there. I mean, it just makes me sick when people do things like that. But to be fair, some people have actually gotten figures that they wanted because someone put an old figure that they had and didn't want anymore and swapped it out, which is essentially stealing. But, if someone actually gets a figure that they want, I mean, good for them. Anyway, here we have Deep Cover. He feels pretty solid in my hands. Nice stiff joint so far. And let's go ahead and slide him off to the side. And let's take a look at his instructions. Oh, and also, before I forget and accidentally throw them out, here are his weapons. Let's go ahead and pop these out. There we are. I think that's his shoulder cannon thingamabob. And then his handgun, which is a gray plastic. Nothing too fancy, but just a little handgun. And then, of course, here is his shoulder cannon, which I think you can also go ahead and just plug that into. And then, of course, this can plug in on his shoulder, either one, left or right. Personal preference, it's up to you how you want to do it, although on the instructions it does show it on his left side, not his right side. But yeah, that's pretty much about it for his accessories. Let's go ahead and I guess show it in his hand. Yeah, there's his gun in his hand, like so. And here is his shoulder rocket launcher on his shoulder, and there is a peg or a hole on each side, so I guess you can have it either or depending on personal preference. Yeah, and that's about it for his, like I said, accessories. Let's go ahead and take a look at the detail on Deep Cover. I'm not sure why they decided Deep Cover, but it's an interesting name. Let's take a look at that noggin. Got some nice silver for the face. Looks like a lightish blue-gray for the eyes, or just a really light blue, and then black for the head, and the head is on a ball joint, full 360, up and down. You look down that far, up that far, and get some wiggly waggly there. And then shoulders can go up that far, full 360. Bicep swivel on a mushroom peg, nice and stiff. Hopefully it doesn't have a problem with wheel jack where it wants to come off. Arms can bend 90 degrees. can't bend any further back, and he does not have wrist swivel, although the wrist can bend, but that is for transformation. Alright, and he does have a waist swivel, full 360. His legs can go out a lot far. He can do a little over the full splits. Legs can go forward that far and back that far before this gets in the way. I don't know if they could go much further back anyway, but that's actually pretty decent range of motion. Knees can go a little bit forward, but that might be just due to transformation, and they can go about 9 degrees there. And then of course the ankle tiltage that almost every single figure has these days, which is actually very enjoyable if you really love to pose your figures in exciting action poses, or just make them do crazy I don't know, poses like this, or goofiness, I don't know. But yeah, a lot more range of posability and articulation than figures of the past. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, let's go take a closer look at his instructions. 8 and up. Yeah, deep cover. Okay, yeah, that's how you put it. Yeah, you can put those together. But of course, then he wouldn't have a handgun, but I think that's how he looked in G1. Well, not deep cover, but Sideswipe. Just a recolor of Sideswipe. And there we go. And there you have Space Lamborghini. Alright. Let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and practice a couple times, and I'll go ahead and get right back with ya. Alright, to get him to car mode, it is pretty straightforward. A nice, solid transformation, if I do say so myself. And, and I definitely, after having this figure, I kind of want to get the barricade now. And there's, that's probably what I should go ahead and order, yeah. It's something on Amazon that you can get. Yeah, first off, flip that up, flip this down, kind of covers his face. But Amazon does have this thing where you order, like, I think it's a double dealer, not double dealer. Oh dear, can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. But what was his name? Yeah, essentially the guy that that's an Autobot, and well, I guess double dealer is kind of the same thing, except instead of turning into a vulture and a robot, he just has 2 robot modes and a car mode. What was his name? It's bugging me that I can't remember it right now. Anyway, do that with his arms. I know I wasn't talking about it as much, but yeah, you get them up here like this, so you can flip those out. Once you flip those out, then you can flip that down, then you rotate them in like so, clip them into place, make sure everything's all nice in place, and then go ahead and rotate his waist around. You pop that open, then you want to push these down. The cool thing about this is that it gets all the tail lights lined up, but is when you transform him into robot mode, or back into robot mode, is that when you push these back down like this, it helps push his feet out, making it easier to transform. I don't know if that's incidental or deliberate in the design, but it is very convenient for getting him transformed back into robot mode. Anyway, then you want to make sure that this little tab right here slides into here, and of course when you're transforming back into robot mode, you probably want to be careful not to just pull apart, because that would cause stress and probably break that little tab, which would not be desirable at all. Then you go ahead and clip these in. On mine it's nice and stiff, but clip that in right there, then just flip those down like that, and then you have the doors, and now you have a nice little futuristic Lamborghini, Cybertronian Lamborghini, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, looks very cool, very sleek, although I will admit I kind of wish he had the spoiler, but I mean, you can't have everything. Well, I guess if you get third-party upgrades, or if you get the Earthrise version or Kingdom version, or whichever version it is that they made with the spoiler, but I'm thinking about getting some paint thinner and getting rid of all the silver streaks, like the damage, getting all that off, and he'd be a nice solid blue sports car. And he's still a solid sports car. I mean, rolls nicely. I guess you can spin him too. And nice storage for the gun. Can't really store underneath, not a whole lot of room, but I mean, it doesn't look horrible like some, like Kingdom yeah, Kingdom Rat Trap. His gun storage is absolutely pathetic, and I ended up losing the gun. I don't know where I lost it, but I lost it. Alright, I finally looked it up. It is Punch and Counter Punch and Barricade. And no, Barricade does not share his mold. It is Smokescreen, I do believe, that he shares that mold. And Prowl, I guess they're kind of the same, with some modifications. Is there, one's a race car and the other two are police cars. So, yeah. But, yeah, like I said, definitely good figure. And, no, it is not available anymore on Amazon. It is, but not by Amazon. It's by other sellers, and it is a lot more expensive. So I'll probably be passing up on that for the meantime. Anyway, until next time, have a good one, everyone. And I know I already said that, but truly have a good one.